computer. Okay. Okay. I won't keep you long tonight. Thank you all for being here. This is a class that a lot of people dread. It's got numbers, in math and stuff. And I'm a product of the Baltimore City public school system. And I will say, I got a cat going on here. So I got two of these running around. I will say I too, math wasn't my thing either going through school, but I learned to appreciate it later in life. But what I'll say to you all is the only way you could fail this class is to not do the work. That's it. Now, there's some people taking the class who've taken it before, and the only reason they didn't succeed was because they didn't do the work. So there's just no way for you not to succeed in this class, except not do the assignments. And the reason I look like on the camera, like I'm looking over here, is because the little, all of you are over here, and then the slides are in the middle, and my camera's in the middle. So I look like I'm looking to the side, but I'm really looking at you all. Because what we're going to do, when the problems, I think they're pretty easy, I'm going to let you just work on them that week and not have a Zoom session. And then if you have questions or problems, you can let me know and I'll help you. For the weeks where the problems get a little harder, we're going to have a Zoom session. Maybe Thursday won't be the best night because somebody else had a class on Thursday. And so we'll have a class. Now, what I do in the Zoom sessions, I don't repeat my lectures because the lectures are there for you to listen to when you have time. But what I do is I tell you exactly how to do the assignment, exactly. And then I do it on the screen. And then I show you the answer. I mean, it can't be any better than that, but if you don't come to the Zoom sessions, you don't get to see all that good stuff. So, but I cover a lot of that in the lectures too. So if you listen to the lecture before you do the assignments, you should have a good head start. And then when you come to the Zoom session, and I keep the Zoom session short because, you're not supposed to really be having Zoom sessions in reality, but because you got so much else to do. But I like to just tell you exactly what to do that week for the assignment. So that's what we're going to do. And so I hope you all are okay with that. And I
yes,
hope
and thank you for doing this. I know I appreciate it.
Dr. Darling designed this class. My wife got her doctorate from UBalt DPA, and she had Dr. Darling. And so I know Dr. Darling pretty well. And he is a detailed numbers kind of guy. He's like in a cloud someplace. And if you have you, I don't know if you've all finished your thesis or not, but if you have Dr. Darling for your thesis class, he's gonna, he's a numbers detail guy. So, but when I took the class over about 5 years ago, I said, yeah, this is not like real humans can't, this is not designed for people, this is designed for robots or something. And so I've tried to soften this class and soften it and soften it and soften it to a point where you can appreciate that it has some benefit to you. So let me just show you. I just got a few slides, and then we'll stop. I did want to show you the assignment that's due this week very briefly. Basically, I just wanted to, let you all see me and know that I'm here, and you can't fail this class as long as you do the stuff. The problem is that the semester is too long. 15 weeks of this stuff, problem after problem. So what I did, like in week 6, we got a little like touchy-feely stuff, Myers-Briggs, personality types and stuff. and then we have a semester break. And then, I got I used to have 2 more, Dr. Darling had 2 more regression assignments at the end. I've turned that into a paper. And so I'm trying, because like 16 weeks of this will make you go crazy. So that's what I'm trying to do, is to make this class not seem like horrible 15 weeks. So I hope you can feel that and appreciate it. So we'll go hard. This is week 2 and week 3 and 4 and 5. We'll work assignments and problems. Then week 6, we'll take a little break. and then shortly after that, we have the break. And then after the break, we'll work a few assignments, and then we'll finish up with a paper. So that's the thing. And, just recognize that, the stuff in this class isn't easy, because you have to do a little bit of statistics at the end and some Excel in the beginning. But, my view is, in your work, it's very likely that if you move up, you'll have to make decisions. But it's highly unlikely that you'll be, well, I don't mean that in a negative way. you're not going to be a data analyst, or if you are, fine. But what you're going to do when you need a regression done or an Excel done is you're going to go find your data analyst and you're going to say to them, do this for me. And then they're going to give you the results, and then you're going to understand the results and make the decision. So it is a class about making decisions, not about crunching numbers. And that's why I don't get too hung up about the crunching of numbers. So like I said, every week when there's a hard assignment, I'll tell you exactly how to do it, and I will show you how to do it on Excel here, and then I will show you the answer. And that's all you have to do is just do what I'm doing there. So, okay, so this is the, UBalt's MPA program is considered one of the best in the country because it has 2 stats classes. This isn't really a stats class, but PUAD630 plus this class. So it's why it's a great program. And it's highly regarded. So, but this is really a decision-making class, not a statistics class. And so I just wanted you to appreciate that. Also, Dr. Laura Gentry, a long time ago, said she didn't want y'all to have to buy extra books. So she made whoever teaches 628 and teaches 630 use the same book. So we're using the same book that we use in 628, just so you don't have to buy another book. So I hope this is the right book for you. And then what else? Like I said, we'll do Zoom sessions. I'm not going to repeat the lectures. And then the focus of this course is really about making the decisions. And you make decisions all the time. You're going to buy a new car or a used car. I bought a car recently when there was a crunch about a year ago on buying cars. You couldn't get a car anyplace. It was like, crises, right? And but I heard that used cars were going crazy, so I sold my 4-year-old car to Carvana. And you had to make a decision. It was all decisions, right? But the decision was Carvana was going to give me $24,000 for this 4-year-old car. And I could almost get a new car for that. So that was a decision, right? And that's, you're making decisions all the time. And this class is just a reflection that you make decisions. And then in the public sector, we're going to make decisions. One of your problems in week 5 is a real world problem. Like, should you build a swimming pool in a city? And then we have to figure out how much it's going to cost. And then we have to decide, does it make sense to build a swimming pool or not? Man, it's real stuff, right? So, and so it's less to me about the math, and it's more about when you see the answer, how much it's going to cost for that swimming pool. Does it make sense to do it? And so I just wanted to remind you that it's about decision making and not so much about crunching the numbers. So in order to get an A in the class, that's what everybody aspirationally wants, you got to do certain things. In the discussions, okay, we had one last week, and we have several, and I throw the discussions in to help you get a higher grade in class. So when you do a discussion for a discussion week, just get in the discussion board and go crazy, right? Talk to everybody. Post 12 times, and you not even have to look at your stuff. I should give you an A, right? So, but if you post 2 times, I'm like, it doesn't look like they really got involved in the discussion, because that's your classmate discussion. There's only 10 people in the class, or 11. So, everybody should get 100 on every discussion, because then if you have a bad week with your math, with your problem, that helps offset it. So for the discussion forums, just get in there and talk about, because it's not that big a deal, but I'd like to see a lot of activity, even though there's only 11 people in the class. So just get in there and go crazy. I say go crazy, right? And then we have the assigned problems, and what I'm going to do, as I said, is I'm going to show you how to do the assigned problems all semester. If they're easy, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I did ask in the first week, and I did read all your discussions about your Excel skills, and everybody's kind of okay with Excel. And I had a couple of lectures on Excel. I use Excel all the time. Like, I'm running this little Spanish program, Spanish school, where people take introduction, basic, or intermediate, or advanced. And so I have a column in my Excel spreadsheet when a person signs up, and as soon as they sign up, it adds 1. And so I know how many total students have signed up, right? So, and it's just all of these basic functions that we're going to be using this semester. And so, I hope that you feel comfortable with Excel. I track my weight. I've been tracking my weight for like 20 years. And I have my max weight for the year, and my min weight for the year, my average weight for the year, right? I know it's a little bit, my wife said, like, why do you do that? I said, well, because I need to lose weight. Yeah. But it's fun for me. When the world closes in on me, and I get all frustrated, I go and add a max function someplace. I'll look at a bunch of my data. So I track my weight. If you ever want to see my weight tracking, I'll show it to you. Maybe one of our upcoming little Zooms, I'll just show you my tracking sheet. And I use, these things that you see on the screen, right? I use min, max all the time, min and max, and average all the time. I use counts, count if all the time. Like I would say, if the person paid by credit card, count if person paid by credit, count if column D equal credit. And then it comes up, it says 26 paid by credit card. Or count if column D equal PayPal, how many paid by PayPal. And so it's just magical stuff, but and if you got a lot of stuff going on, it's hard to keep it on a piece of paper like it's yellow sticky. So to focus this semester is building models. Every time you do a problem, you're building a model. I think one of you all asked me, Donica, it may have been you, about the what if analysis question. And I want to get into that in a second, because in the assignment that you have to turn in this week, you had to do a little what if analysis. Well, you're gonna have to do that in all the models, and I want to talk about that in a second. So, but that's what we're really building this semester, is we're building models. I'm holding my keyboard because my cat is sitting right here. I usually don't sit here and hold keyboards, but yeah, I got a cat sitting right here, and he's going to stay here until I pet him or something. So that's
it's an extra work for you.
Yeah, well, I got two of them too. They're brother and sister. We got them out of the shelter, the rescue shelter, and we picked two good ones. These are two really good cats. We picked them up this summer, and they've been really good for us. So, okay. So when you build your model, each assignment is a model. I'm going to tell you what the inputs are. I'm going to say, imagine that you are making 27 units, that it costs this much for your material, and you're going to sell them at this price. Those are my inputs. I'm going to give you inputs all the time, right, for all the assignments. And then you're going to put those in. And I'm going to say, now go ahead and calculate what your total expenses are, what your total revenue is, and how much profit you make, right? So those will be formulas. So you'll have inputs in the model, and then you'll have formulas, and then you'll have numbers, right? And the numbers will turn up. And so you'll see that. Now, but what I put in red here in the what if analysis is what you do once you get a model. So when you get a model, when I gave you those inputs, those are the inputs that I kind of forced you to use. But then what you need to do is you say, well, what if I could have my cost of my material cheaper? What if instead of buying it over here, I could buy it over there? Give you an example. I live in Florida, and we had a Hurricane Ian tear this place apart on September 28th. Tore it apart. Everybody here needs a roof, including me. I'm halfway to a new roof. And so, and then we're on next door, and everybody's saying like, wow, I found this person who will repair the screens in my backyard for this much. And somebody else says, well, they told me over here it was this much. And people are doing what if analysis. Well, what if I, only pay that much for my screens? I can have more of the insurance money, or whatever. And so that's, that I'll show you in a minute. And I'll show you every time we do an assignment how to do what if analysis. And so all I'm trying to do is to have you say, well, okay, so this was the model. But what if I could get my material someplace else cheaper? How would that affect my profit? Or what if I were to charge $2 more? How would that affect my profit? And that's all what if analysis is. It has to come out of your head. I can't tell you how to do what if analysis. You have to, sometimes I do like 600 more pair, and I'll show you that. But the what if analysis has to be things that you say like, well, what if I could, what if I could do this? And you start changing the inputs and see what happens in your formulas. Again, you'll see that as we go along. So, and so that's kind of what we'll do this semester. And by the end of the semester, you'll be telling your children, you need to do some what if analysis on buying those shoes. Maybe we can get them shoes cheaper someplace, right? I love to talk about the kids. I raised two sons, so I know how this goes. So the assignment that's due this week is out of this kind of older article. So some of the Excel stuff is a little different than Excel works now, but it's still pretty basic. And I want to show you this, but basically in this article, you're given inputs, you're given some values. You said, okay, the sales price is going to be $25. Fixed costs. Now, fixed costs are things that you have to pay to exist, right? Your building, right? Your rent. Those are fixed costs. You have to pay them all the time. Your utilities are fixed costs, and so the things that you have to pay just to stay alive are fixed costs. In my house, my fixed costs are my Comcast bill and the mortgage and insurance. Those are fixed costs. Variable costs, though, means for every additional pair of shoe you make, how much did the material for that shoe cost? So that if you do 2 shoes, the material costs $10, that's $20. But if you do 10 shoes, that's 10 times 20, so it's $200. So, the variable cost is stuff that changes based on how many you sell or make. And so, you're going to see that all semester. Again, I'll show it to you in a second. So, and then down below are the formulas, and you can see in this little call out here, the annual revenue is equal to the sales price times how many were sold, right? So that's how much money comes in. And then your variable costs are, I gotta look at this, are your variable costs in B7 times how many you sold. So you can sort of see how that looks, and then you can see how the stuff stacks up. So, I'm going to actually bring up the spreadsheet in a second and show you this stuff. But anyway, that's what you have to do this weekend. And I really didn't want you to have to work hard this week or next week. All you got to do is do exactly what the article says. Just make it be yours. And because you're really doing is learning techniques and learning some patterns. So again, I'll bring this up in a second and show it to you. Now, the 2 functions you're going to learn in these 2 weeks, one is called goal seek, which helps you find out your break-even point. Now, what does break-even mean? That means the point where the amount of money is coming in covers how much you've spent, right? That's when your profit is 0. So break-even is always profit is equal to 0. So what goal seek does is it's a fancy little way in Excel to figure out how many units you have to sell to get to break even. How many you have to sell to cover your costs. I'll show you that in a second. And then there's another, okay, so I'll show you this because I'm not going to spend time on the slides. I think you'll benefit better by seeing the spreadsheet. And then there's another feature this week and next week called Define Data Table. And I'm going to show you that in a second as well. And I'll explain that as we go through it as well. And because I think just seeing the spreadsheet will help you like, oh yeah, I get it. So that's what that is, right? Okay. When you build your spreadsheets, put comments in your spreadsheets. Okay, I'm really big on comments. And, if you want the max score, good comments in spreadsheets are meaningful to me. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. We're going to do need stat statistical package at the end of the semester, but don't stress over that now. Some of you have max, and we'll deal with that later. I don't really want anybody to think about statistics yet, because we're not going to do statistics until the second half of the semester. And then I'll help you get there. So, okay, so let's just look at the schedule real quick, and then we're done. And I'll bring up the spreadsheet for the assignment for this week. Okay, so here we are, February 6th through 12, week 2. We're going to do that assignment. You're going to do exactly what the assignment says, part 1, and then you're going to do the rest of the handout next week, part 2. So I'm hoping that that's fairly straightforward and no need for a Zoom session. But if you have questions, email me, please, or let me know. We can even do private Zoom sessions. Like you said, I really need a Zoom session because I'm lost or something. And I'll set up time and we'll do a Zoom session. Okay, then the week after that, you're going to begin doing real problems and not just repeating what's in the article. And so the first one is a very easy cost-benefit analysis. A school wants to set up a lemonade stand. And so the principal wants to know whether the lemonade stand is going to make any money or not in order to decide whether to approve it or not. And it's pretty easy, right? It's pretty straightforward. And so I'm not going to do a Zoom because it's really, you just put in the stuff and the answers should come up. And now I will give you templates for all of this, and I'll be happy to show you the template for that assignment in a second. But then in week 5, you get into the swimming pool for the inner city. And now that cost benefit analysis is more complex because a swimming pool has got a lot of factors. And so we're going to come back in week 5 and have a Zoom session. And I will show you exactly how to do that problem. And I'm going to give you a template for it anyway. So week 5, expect to have another Zoom session. Okay. And then we're going to go into an easy week. Week 6 is just a discussion. Take a little break, relax. Then week 7, there's another assignment. And because of the problems with the software that we've been having, like SPSS, you can't get anymore at U-Bolt. You have to go to their server and all. I actually have done the assignment for you, and I'm giving you the outputs, and I'm just asking you to analyze the outputs. And it's discussed in your textbook, right? How to build these trees, decision trees. But I already did it for you because the software was just too complicated, too many licensing issues. So I've already done it for you. And so all you had to do is read a chapter, see how decision trees work, and then look at the decision tree that I did, and then make a decision. So it's not a hard week. But if you run into challenges, or if you're freaking out when you see that assignment in week 7, we'll do a little Zoom session, but I don't really plan to do one. Week 8 is semester break, right? So we're all the way through the end of March, boom, and with one more Zoom session, right? So then in April, there's another easy assignment. It's called a Mal model, and it looks a lot like what you're going to do next week. It's very similar to what you do next week. So, and what I did for that one was, should the U.S. Postal Service convert to all electric vehicles or hybrids or state gas, right? So it's a fun little project, and it's not that difficult. And so we won't do Zoom. We'll do the next Zoom in week 10 because that's when we start doing regression analysis. And so there's week 10. And so and in week 10, I'll discuss week 10 and week 11 assignments, and I'll show you exactly how to do them. Promise. Okay. And then we'll deal with any getting access to the, if you have an IBM, a Microsoft computer, you're not gonna have any problems. But if you have a Mac, it's just a little more challenging. Okay. So, and so then we get into, so that's week 10, 11. I'll cover that in week 10. And then we get into week 12. We have 2 more regression assignments, 12 and 13. So we'll have a Zoom in 12, and I'll cover both weeks. If I feel like you need another, like a touch up in week 13, we'll do a follow up, but I don't think you will. And that's it, right? And so then week 14 is a paper. I used to, week 14 and 15 used to be regression assignments. So, I feel so sorry for you by that point. I would just like you to read about how to do forecasting, which is what the Federal Reserve does. They're forecasting interest rates or forecasting inflation, right? Well, it's an important concept, but I didn't need for you to all to run regressions to forecast. It just, you're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I worked at the Federal Reserve. I know the people who do that, and they're all wireheads. They're like PhD kind of guys who do that, right? People, guys and gals. And so, but I still would like for you to read about it and write a little paper. So, and then in week 15, we'll shut this down with a little discussion. So, and remember, when the discussions go crazy, right? Get in there and type a lot of stuff. Okay. Anybody have any questions so far? No.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
So I saw at first I have a question about the recordings. So I saw here the sign of recording. So these Zoom sessions will be recording or no? Like, will you be publish it in the web?
I will publish this one. I will be publishing this one. Yes. See, what I don't want to do is have you say, well, I can just bring up his recording and follow every slide, every. I'd rather you be watching me do it and then go try to do it yourself, and as opposed to put out there exactly how to do the assignment. So I might record partials maybe, but what I won't do is show you exactly the answers, because I want people to come to the sessions, right? And so now if you have a true conflict, we'll work something out. But yeah, I'm recording this session because I had several people who said they needed this one, but there's not much going on right now. So yeah, I'll try to record the session.
And for those weeks that we don't have the Zoom session, will we have the lecture videos or something, or just we will go? Okay.
No, lectures every week. I've recorded lectures for every one of these topics.
Okay.
Sometimes 2.
That's great.
You're going to regret it. You're going to regret it. So yeah, no, in MSA, in PUAD 628, you already listened to my lectures, right? It's a lot of you who had Dr. Kelly. You remember you listened to me talking about what an R-square means? I don't know if y'all remember that, but those are my lectures. So you're going to see them again. I'm going to have them again for you. Yeah, I have lots of lectures, and I have people all over the world who follow me on YouTube for my statistics lectures. They really like them because I'm like real, like nobody ever told me that when I was in school. Well, Like, so that when I made the lectures, that's all I want to do is like talk to people, like for real. Like, so yeah.
Thank you.
The lectures are quite good. And the other
No,
thing
I
is,
appreciate that.
you were so welcome, Alexis. And I will do private Zoom. You know, that'd be a private. If somebody says I really am lost, what I'll do is say to everybody, I'm going to have a special Zoom session on Wednesday at 3 p.m. or, you know, it's y'all probably work. We'll do them at night. Wednesday at 6:30 or something. So, you know, if somebody tells me they're struggling, I'll let everybody know that I'm going to be with them and y'all can come in. So, yeah, and one thing, like I said, I'll say it again. The only way you can fail this class is to not turn in your assignments. There's no other way. I said, it's just, yeah, I'm going to show you the answers and everything. There's just no other way. So, yeah, trust me. Okay, we'll have a little trust thing going on. I know it's only week 2, but okay. So listen, you have to go and type the stuff that you see on the screen, and like I did. I did the same thing. I took the article and I typed in example A.1. I made it bold. I did profit loss, right? I typed it. They said the unit sales price is 25. Now, listen, you know, I like things to look kind of nice. So to me, if it's a sales price, I probably would format that and turn that into dollars and cents, right? So I'd probably go ahead and make that look like money, right? Then if it says fixed costs, that looks like money as well. So both of these I'm going to format, and I'm going to make both of those look like money. I don't know why the spreadsheet isn't already set up to do that. So, so the fixed costs, and what are fixed costs again? They're just, you have to pay those, right? To be in business. Like if you're a restaurant, you have to pay the rent. It's a fixed cost. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have 1 customer or 10,000, you got to pay the rent. The rent is a fixed cost, right? The variable costs are how much it takes to satisfy a customer, right? Or to produce a product. And so if you do 10 products or 10 customers, it's this much. If you do 1,000, it goes up. So it's per unit. Okay. So, so this is the stuff. Now, where it says inputs here, I'm just going to highlight this and go put a box around it or something here like this. And I'll even shade it a little bit. We'll make it yellow. And those are inputs. Those are things you're given. And so those are not formulas or anything. Those are just numbers. I just typed in. Now look up. You'll see up here, it says 25, right? And you see up in the little box up here, 52. Those are just numbers I typed in. 9 I typed in, and 2,500 I typed in, right? So I typed all that in. Now down here, these are formulas, and you're given those formulas in the article, right? So how do you calculate revenue? You multiply the price that you're selling it for times how many you sold. That's how much you take in, right? That's your profit. I mean, that's not your profit, it's your revenue. That's how much comes in. And then out of the money that comes in, you got to take out your expenses, right? So you got to take out your variable costs. And so how do we calculate the variable costs? We take the unit variable cost times the number of units, right? So $9 times 2,500 is 22.5. And then we had to add the fixed cost. That was 5,200 up above. We have to do, and I add those two together. I add the variable and fixed together to give me total cost. You don't have to do that, but I did it. And so then I subtract the total cost from the revenue. So my costs were 74.5 here. Sorry. Oops. I have this computer I have in the back room here is my Zoom computer. It's not real fast. It's an older computer. I have a real fast computer in the other location. Anyway, so if I take the cost 74.5 and subtract it from the revenue, I lost 12,000. So if I'm only selling 2,500 units, I'm losing money. I'm not break even. I'm not even, you know, and you can't run a business too long, because to pay the bills, if you're losing money, you got to take money out of your pocket and give it to somebody, right? Pay the employees and all that stuff. So, okay. So that's, you know, that's what the assignment is. And so you had to just kind of go through, and now notice that again, I want to point this out up here in the little dialog box up the top here is a formula, B5 times B9. And then it's a formula, and it's a formula. Those are all formulas. That's very important, because if I come up here and change the input quantity sold, I want to say, like, let me see what happens if I sell 3,000 units. Do you all think I'll be profitable at 3,000?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't really know the answer. Oh, nope, still losing money at 3,000. See, I just did, that's a what if analysis. What if I sell 3,000? So I probably can feel good that if I just sell 3,500. Okay, I'm now profitable, right? So my profit's $4,000. So yeah, you see what you did, right? You started with 2,500 and you kept adding how many you need to sell. You can do the same thing with your costs, right? Let me go back to 2,500 and I could go, because there are formulas down below, the numbers will change. You can't, that's why you can't just type in numbers for your calculations and outputs. They have to be formulas, right? So now let me go up and say, well, what if I sell these shoes for, I'll say it, that's not LeBron James exceptionalities, and I'll charge $45 a pair. Right. So yeah, man, look at that. $38,000 profit, right? If I can charge $45 a pair instead of 25. So, I mean, that's great stuff. That's what you need to tell the boss. Well, sorry, boss, but you can't charge 25 a pair or you're going to lose money. You got to charge 45, you make some good money. That's the whole class. And that's what these first two activities are about. So now you are asked this week and next week to use a couple things, and I just want to show them to you. And this is being recorded, and I'm going to post a link on an announcement and all that. So you're going to have to do something called, and I'll type it over here, goal seek. Goal seek. Okay, that's one thing you're going to be asked to do. Now, the way you do goal seek, see if I type it up here. You got to go to data / what if. Okay, so I'll go up here to data, the top, and I'm going over here to what if on the right hand side, and then one of those two options says goal seek. Y'all see that? And this is on the recording anyway, right? So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get that profit to be zero, because that's my break-even point. Because what goal seek is about is it helps you to determine your break-even point. So I'm going to set my profit. Now, where is my profit? It's cell B18. See that? I'll show you that in a second. I'm gonna cancel this. I'm gonna come back to this one second. Okay, so here's my break-even point. Oh, so that's the number I have to sell right there. Let me go back and fill this in. I want you to get a good color here, like a blue or something. Wrong one. Sorry. Blue. And I'll make that white. And I'll make that bold, just so you can see that's the one we're going to mess with, right? So let me go back now to data, what if analysis, goal seek. Okay, I want to set that cell that I was just highlighted there, the break even. I want that to be 0, because that's. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm misspoken. I want my profit to be 0. Yeah, sorry. Misspoke here. Okay, but you have it on recording, right? You have me messing up on my recording. Let me go back here. I'm gonna cancel that again. You want the profit to be 0, right? Didn't I say to you earlier, I said, when your profit is 0, that's your break-even point. Everything's bold here. All right, data, what if, goal seek. Okay, so I want to set B16. What do I want to set it to? Value 0. I want my profit to be 0, because that's break even. And now, what do I want to change? What I want to see go up or down? I want to know how many units do I have to sell to reach a break-even point. And so that is your B18. Okay. So there's your B18. Okay, so it's going to do this. All right, so sum must contain a value. All right, I tried this before we did this. Let me go back here. Okay, 3250. Oh, I set it to the wrong cell. Try it again. I'm going to try it again. I need to know how many I'm selling here. There it is again. I'm sorry for the confusion. You can see, try this again. How many do I need to make or sell in order to have this be 0? I'm going to set this thing here to Okay, data. I'm sure the book will do a better job of explaining it to you. Okay, try it again. B16 is equal to 0. And then I want to change quantity made and sold. And that's B9. That's what it was. Okay, so what it did was it came down here and it changed. It changed this number. It actually changed that number to 3250. So what it says is I need to make or sell 3250 in order to break even. Now I had already calculated that here. I probably should leave that out. Let me just leave that out. Okay, so you can't see that. I'm gonna try this one more time. What was this number originally? You all remember what that number was originally from the article? 2,500. Okay, and so remember, 2,500 shoes, I'm gonna have a loss of $12,000. So I want to go ahead and try this goal seek, and I want to say, well, how many do I have to sell? Okay, what is my quantity made and sold? So I set B16 to 0 by changing B9. Okay, so it's going to take and add, it's going to take that 2,500 and it's going to start messing with it. And then finally, it changes the profit to 0. And it says 3,250 units is the right number to break even. So that's what goal seek does. Now, just play with it, see if it works for you. You can remember it. You can go back and look at this tape anyway. Now, the other thing you need to do, and I know this one will work okay for me, is let's go back and change this to 2,500 and see that I'm losing money. Yeah, I'm losing $12,000. Okay, this is called a data table, this thing right here. And you're going to be asked to build that as well. You're going to use this when you do your swimming pool challenge for the city. And so what you're going to be asked to do in the article is build a table that looks just like this. Now, when you build this article, you're going to be asked to, I put these asterisks in myself just because I'll tell you why in a second, right? And so you're going to put sales quantity in this column, and you're going to have this computer calculate profitability in this column here. Okay, notice that the numbers here, 0, 500, 1,000, 1,500, that's how many units you're selling, right? Who makes the decision about what those numbers are? That's really you. Let's just say instead of going by units of 500, let's just say I want to see what my profit is, because in a second, I'm going to see the profit in this other column. Let's just say I want to see them at every 250 units instead of every 500 units, right? And I'm going to use a formula because I don't have to type in all these. So I'm going to go equal to A24 plus 250. Okay, and then I'm going to copy that formula the rest of the way down. And so I'm changing it from being every 500 units. Formatting. So now I'm doing 250, 500, 750, 1,000, and all that. You can make up whatever units. What was in that example there was 0, 500, 1,000, 1,500, but I like to make it 250 because it gives me a little bit more detail. So now you're going to be asked in the assignment, I can't remember whether it's this week or next week, to do a data table. And when you do a data table, you make very sure I had student ran into a problem with this last semester, that you start with that blank column, that blank space there, and you highlight all the way down to the bottom. But you notice that I included that blank space there, and I included the profit, right? And so now I'm going to come up to data, what if analysis, data table, and then it's going to want to say, what am I going to be varying to see the profit? And the answer is sales quantity. That's why I put the asterisk on there. So you come up here and you say, where's the sales quantity? That's B9. So when you read the article, you'll see that you need to type in B9 there. Now magic is about to happen here. Because what it does is it starts to tell you that at each one of these quantities, here's what the profit is. And that's pretty powerful stuff. I mean, my formatting's off, but let's center everything. That's pretty powerful stuff. Now, what can you tell about the profitability if you just use this table? It came up with the same answer as goal seek. It said profit is 0 at 3,250 pairs of shoes, right? And that's what goal seek told me, the same thing. So this is just another way to be able to examine your profitability by changing the sales quantity. So these are just tools that you'll use, and you'll appreciate the tools more if you read the article. And then when we get into really using them, I just want to show you tonight, and we'll have it in this recording, how to use those two tools. So when you get to them, the article explains it real well, but if you need help, you just come back and listen to this article as well. So yeah, but again, it's a very straightforward assignment. Just kind of fill in all the things that you have to fill in, and you should be all set. Anybody have any questions? I know I messed up that first one, but anybody have any questions? I'm going to stop sharing this. There's the assignment for next week. Let me assignment for next week. Let me show you real quick. If I can find
I had
it
a
here.
quick question
Yeah.
about this week's assignment.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we also, in this assignment, we're supposed to do, I guess, a graph as well on another tab.
Yeah.
So you do want that's on a separate tab, but it's okay to have everything on this tab like you have it right now. Or I thought in the, I guess the overview video that you had for the first week, that I thought I saw like 3 different tabs for 3 different things, but I could be wrong. I just want to make sure that I'm not bunching things together. I have it like accurately the way that you like.
You know, it's going to come in. It's going to come in all over the place.
Okay.
This semester, some of you are, you know, this is the one for next week. Yeah, you know, if you have everything on one tab, it's okay.
Okay.
If you know it, when I start giving you the templates, I'm going to show you. Let me show you the template for the next assignment before we end. But this is the one for next week, right? So this is your assignment for next week, where you have tasks 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12, right? And so you have to kind of like do some other things here. And I don't need to get into the details, but you can just sort of see that, you know, it's going to look sort of like this. So I have a label here that says task 7, 8, and 10. And then also notice that we have some comments in here. I did want to mention about adding comments. You can't just, when you start typing like a lot of comments to explain your spreadsheet, you can't type them into a cell. This is an analysis of, because things get, you'll just, it'll keep going that way, or it'll go that way. In order to add comments, always be sure to go up to the insert tab. Come on. It's slow. It's really slow. And then it's still spinning for me. And then insert a text box. Where's the text box? Insert tab. All right. Insert text box. Already text box. Well, I don't see the text box here, but it should be here someplace there. Insert. Okay, there it is. Okay, it was just buried. And just insert a box, and inside that box, type your comments. And that way, you won't get stuck inside of an Excel cell. So when you're typing and you're adding comments about, and the reason why you're adding comments, because when you go back to this model a year later, you won't remember what it's about. And so, you know, having comments is kind of important. You know, it's kind of a big thing. But you can see this is just the chart that gets generated for task 9 overall scores. Again, all you're doing is following exactly the instructions in that article for next week. This is next week's, right? And so there's another chart. And then finally, there's an activity called a sum product. And you'll use these in upcoming assignments. All of these activities will be upcoming assignments. So anyway, that's what that looks like. Now, let me go and show you. Let me show you the templates that I use this semester. Okay, so when you go to week 4 and you look at the instructions for week 4, that's just a slow computer. Okay, let me share this. Just slow. Lemonade stand. So this is what you'll get. This is actually part of the assignment, and you just download it. And all you have to do for week 4 is this. It's a fairly simple problem. You have to type in the data that I gave you in the problem. How many weeks is the stand going to run? You know, you're given 1. How much are the startup costs? What are the fixed costs? All that's given to you in the assignment. See the blue stuff? That's all given to you. It's just right there in the assignment, right? And then how many are going to be sold each week? Again, you have to type that in. Okay, and then these are formula down here. So you have to type the formulas in, but the formulas are right there. You see in the template, right? You see like price times quantity times the number of weeks. I put that right in there, right? So all you have to do is put the formulas in the cells exactly the way it says right there, right? So the one-time cost is equal to cell B6. So you just got to type that in. You type in the formulas, right? And then once the formulas are all in, right? Total revenue minus total cost. You're going to be done basically. And then you're going to go and you can modify or change the comments around a little bit. Now notice that you've got this guy here, right? We just did that. Right now, I can't run it for you right now because I don't have any data in these tables. But if I had data in those tables, I would just go. I would go. It won't work. But I'd go data what if analysis, data table, and then drop down the column input cell and go to that cup sold. And then cup sold is quantity sold, so that's B11. So I'd type B11, but it won't work. It won't work because there's nothing in B11. And then what would happen is the profit at each, we had 50 cups, the profit at 75 cups, the profit at 100 cups would all be shown. So, and every week you're going to be given something that looks just like this. I mean, really comprehensive, because I didn't want you to have to build this stuff. I'm not asking that of you. I just want you to play with it a little bit and then try to make a decision. Because I do it at the end. At the end, you have to answer the questions. Because so you do the little modeling, then you got to answer these questions. Right. And that's the decision-making part of the class. And that's where I want to place the emphasis. That's why I said, just type in the numbers, type in the formulas, see what it looks like. Remember how to do this little table and then answer these questions. Right. So that's week 4. And then week 5 is a lot more complicated, but I don't want to show it to you right now. I don't want you to like quit the class, but I'll come back in week 4. We'll do a Zoom session and week 5 and I'll go over it in detail. So anyway, that's all I want to do tonight. I just wanted to reassure you, this is a class that is only going to take doing the assignments and turning stuff in. And if you run into problems, let me know. Send me emails. You can send me your spreadsheets and say, look, I did this and it didn't. I did this and it didn't work. But if you have questions in your email, send me your spreadsheet too. So because then I can look at spreadsheets. You put the wrong formula in cell B11. That's what I'll do. I'll send it back to you and say wrong cell. Wrong formula in cell B11. So when if you're emailing me questions on weeks where we're not doing Zoom, just send me your spreadsheet as well. So, okay, give it a try. Listen, I'm going to get you all through this. Just don't, towards the end of the semester, don't stop. That's all I ask. Or if you feel like you have to stop, talk to me, because a couple people will give incompletes too. Problem with an incomplete is that you get busy with life and you don't come back and finish. Right. And you don't want to do that, right? Because you're too close to your MPA, right? You're too close to it. Pay too much money and work too hard to get here. So, okay, I'll see you all in 3 weeks. I'll let you know loud and clear. But if you need help, let me know. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Kessler.
Okay.
Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Take care.
Thank
Y'all
you.
gonna do great. I promise. Okay. See you
Have a
soon.
good one.
Here comes the
Very
cat.
helpful.
Okay. See you
Have
soon.
a good night.
Y'all take care.